Today we're talking about how to give your newborn puppy a bath and when to do it. So when I was first starting out, I didn't know if I could give a newborn puppy a bath only because they're still young. They're still learning how to regulate their internal temperature, and I didn't want to risk putting them at risk for getting cold and getting chilled and then start to fade away. So I figured out when it's okay to do it. You can definitely give a newborn puppy a bath. If you have an incubator, that's awesome, that's great. After the bath, you put the puppy in the incubator and then make sure that they're warm. But if you don't, this is just how you can give them a bath and make sure that they don't get cold during the process. So the age that I would recommend you giving your newborn puppy a bath is going to be 2 weeks minimum. At 2-week mark, these puppies, they start to regulate their internal temperature, and you don't want them to get chilled and cold before that time. So I definitely recommend at least 2 weeks before you try to give your newborn puppies a bath. After that, then they'll be able to regulate their temperature and you won't have to worry about them possibly getting chilled as if versus when they were brand new and they couldn't regulate their temperature. So always make sure your puppy is at least 2 weeks before giving them a bath. And then if your puppy is before 2 weeks, what I recommend is getting non-scented baby wipes and just giving them a quick little wipe down. Again, you don't want to give them a bath because they still can't regulate their internal temperatures. So get some unscented baby wipes, wipe them down. You can even get a wipe warmer as well and put the wipes in there so that way they're nice and warm when they come out of the wipe warmer. But if you do decide that you want to wipe the puppies down because they're covered in poop or something like that, then just make sure that they're fully dry after you wipe them down, because that cold wipe or the wet wipe can easily make a puppy chilled and you don't want that. So make sure you dry the puppies completely before they go inside their whelping pen. So you want to take your newborn puppy right when they're ready to get in the bath, because if it's summertime and you have the AC running, keep in mind it is cold for these little guys. So make sure that it's not too cold for them. You're going to turn the water on just like you would for a normal puppy or a normal baby in a sense. And you want to keep the water warm, and you want to test the water on your wrist. You don't want it too hot, and you don't want to scald the little puppy's skin because their skin is still very sensitive. Now you're going to test the water. You want to make sure the water is a great temperature to where when you test it on your wrist, it's not going to be too cold or too hot. And once that gets going, once that gets running, then you're going to slowly put the puppy underneath the water. So the water is at an appropriate temperature now. And then you're just going to keep the puppy's head above the water. I like to do it in the sink because these puppies are so tiny, they actually don't need a whole bathtub. And as you can see, the puppy's starting to relax a little bit. And you're just going to turn the puppy over, make sure you get the belly part, and keep in mind too, if you have a newborn puppy and he has poop all over him, I wouldn't give them a bath right away, even if they're 2 days old, only because the umbilical site is still healing. Notice how on this puppy, the umbilical site is completely closed, and that's why I'm submerging him in the water. But you're going to just give the puppy a little bath on his body. Don't wet his head. I like to just put some water in my hand and then just slowly rub it on his head like so, because you don't want to submerge his whole head underneath the water and also get his little ears wet. So this puppy, he is 3 weeks old today, and he was the smallest of the bunch. But notice how I'm not getting his ears wet. I don't want water getting in his ears, and I also don't want water going down his nose on his face. So I'm just using my hands to just moisten his head and moisten the skin around his mouth. And you want to make sure when you are giving your puppies a bath that you are rubbing their head and kind of cleaning their head as well, because you don't want the puppy to get what's called puppy acne. And sometimes when puppies are nursing, they do get, poop and stuff on their head just because they lead with their head when they're puppies. So you want to make sure the heads are clean at all times. So make sure you clean that head so that way the puppies don't get puppy acne and puppy pimples. Now this is a puppy shampoo that I like to use. I got it on Amazon, and this shampoo is made for small baby puppies. And you don't want to use just any dog shampoo. You want to make sure that you're getting a shampoo made for sensitive skin and sensitive puppies. So when I do it, I like to get in between the thighs, right here, get their legs, because keep in mind, for the first couple weeks, they're dragging their bodies around, so they're picking up all that, you know, nasty stuff that's on the bottom of the whelping pen, which are supposed to be getting changed and cleaned, so make sure you're changing your blankets, but still, you want to make sure you get every single nook and cranny on these little guys. So you want to get their chest, get their private areas, get their little bottoms, and just make sure these puppies are, you know, just comfortable while you're doing it. Also keep in mind that these puppies, when they're outside of the water, it is kind of cold, so make sure that you do occasionally give them some water so that way they keep their body temperature up. But I'm just gonna take the soap that I have on my hand and just slowly rub it in a circle like so, and as you can tell, he's really enjoying it. So I'm just gonna rub it, just gonna clean it a little bit so that way we clean the skin so it's not dirty and we don't get puppy acne on the head. And then after that, I'm gonna go and just rinse him off. So as I'm rinsing him off, I'm rubbing him, making sure that he's okay. I'm not submerging him in the water completely, and he's trying to figure out what this is. This is his first bath. So double check the water too, make sure it's not too hot. Sometimes when you have warm water running, it can get a little warm, so just make sure it's not too warm. And then this is also great for ENS training, making sure that he knows what water is and making sure that he's comfortable with the different temperatures of the water. So I like to just take my hand again and wipe off that soap that I got. Keep in mind, I'm not putting them underwater. As I get behind the ears, I'm going to fold the ears back and then just let it run down his neck. So this is him after his first bath. He's looking quite relaxed. And then I'm just gonna go and take a clean towel, roll him up in the towel, and then just dry him thoroughly. Now if you don't have an incubator, just make sure you dry the puppies thoroughly. You can put the towel inside the dryer and then dry the puppies, but you don't want to put like a blow dryer or anything on them because it's going to get too hot. So just make sure before you take them back to the whelping area that they're fully dry, and also that they're not going to get cold and they're not going to get chilled. So this is also a good time too, since you did give them a bath, to cut their fingernails as well, and we'll go into another video on how to do that properly. But also take into consideration that you just want to make sure that you dry this puppy completely, and once the puppy is dried, you are going to either put them in your whelping pen or you can place them in your incubator. So I have the incubator set to 85 degrees. This little guy, he's loving it. Look at him. He's loving that temperature, let me tell you. So afterwards, I'm just gonna place him in here like so, and he'll finish off drying so that way he doesn't become chilled. But anyways, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care of your pups.